Welcome to Stack Card 2023 WWE NXT Battleground Review. Tonight was an amazing night. We're here live in the Tsonga Center in Lowell, Massachusetts. We had a bunch of championships on the line. The World Heavyweight title for the NXT. We had the Women's NXT vacant title. We had the NXT Tag titles. And we also had the North American Championship on the line as well. We also saw a match for the NXT Heritage Cup, which it was really cool. It was a British rounds rules match, and so it would go 6 rounds maximum, and whoever won the most, as you could tell, this is what happens when you're in the city. As you guys know, you've seen previous of my after shows before, so this is always bound to happen. We had a triple threat match to start the night off. It was Wesley defending his championship against Tyler Bate and Joe Gacy. This was a very physical match. Actually, all the men used each other's bodies as weapons during the match. Some key moments was the moonsault from Wesley to the opponent outside the ring, over the turnbuckle to the outside of the ring. The power bombs splashing onto each other. Wesley ended up picking up a victory and retaining his championship with a kick to the head. It was kind of like a flip into a kick. And what I found very interesting about this is Wesley used to be very heavily involved in the tag division, so to see him shine on his own was really cool to see. The second match of the night, we had Noam Dar taking on Dragon Lee. This was for the NXT Heritage Cup. Now, Noam Dar is Israeli, where Dragon Lee is Mexican, and this is kind of cool to see all these different heritages coming together and battle it out to see who can reign supreme in NXT. So, what we saw in this match, it was a lot of back and forth. We had this British rounds rules match. Noam Dar ended up on top, 1-0 to kick off the match. Then Dragon Lee tied it up. Going into round 5, both managers were ejected from ringside, and we had a 1-1 tie. And it was like, that was the peak of the match right there, was round 5, because we only have one more round left and we didn't know where this was going to go. So both men really battled it out. Unfortunately, Noam Dar, using some tricks up his sleeve, got interference on the referee, took advantage, and ended up winning the NXT Heritage Cup. I could definitely see this turning into something down the road, especially how close Dragon Lee was to picking up a victory. Great match by both, though. I think that Noam Dar experience, he's been WWE, he had that cruiserweight division back in 2016-17. He had a feuds with Cedric Alexander, so I think, Dragon Lee's going to catch on to that. Next up, we had Ilya Dragunov taking on Dijak in a last man standing match. The big thing in this match was the steps. We saw a DDT onto the steps. We saw a backdrop onto the steps. We even saw the steps used in a coast-to-coast. Ilya Dragunov did a coast-to-coast with the steps into Dijak's face. It was awesome. It was a really good match. Both men put in an incredible effort. Ilya Dragunov came up with the win, but I don't think either man looked weak in this match because both put on an incredible performance. Next, we had our NXT Tag Team Championship match. We had Gallus defending their championships against the Creed brothers. This match was very solid. Creed brothers coming out there, suplexing everything in sight. I mean, the match was solid. I would love to see another rematch because I think they could do a lot more, especially in terms of story. So I'd like to see where this goes next. Next, we had the vacant NXT Women's Championship. We had Tiffany taking on Lyra. And this match was actually really cool in terms of storytelling. Not so much weapon use or interference, but more selling the injury, doing the one-on-one wrestling. Both women put on an awesome match. We had Tiffany go after Lyra's knee throughout the entire match. She started off by first driving her knee into the ring post outside the ring. And then she just stayed on the knee throughout the whole match, which was a very smart strategy. So Tiffany ended up picking up the win. The fans went wild. She ended up winning on her moonsault off the top rope. I love it. Love to see it. I think both women have a very bright future in NXT. In our main event, we have Mello Hayes returning to his home of Massachusetts to take on Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship. This match was really cool to watch because Braun Breaker actually turned heel. He had that title for about a year. Mello ended up taking it from him, and we saw a sign of respect between the two for the first week or two. And then all of a sudden, Braun Breaker showed a different side of him that we never saw before. So that aggressive side, and people were barking, and I thought maybe my dog got loose in the arena because I kept hearing a barking sound. It was great though, watching these two go at it. I think there's definitely going to be a few more matches down the road. Mello ended up picking up the victory with a drop. It was a leg drop from the top rope onto Braun Breaker. The match was very physical and a lot of near falls. The crowd were on the edge of their feet. So definitely excited to see more from NXT. I think this is just the beginning of a new era. This event was special in particular, and that's why when you hear me talk about these matches, there's not much behind it because a lot of this is new. You gotta think, the WWE draft just happened, so a lot of NXT stars ended up getting called up to the main roster. So we had a vacant women's title and our world title. We're seeing Braun Breaker as a heel for the first time. So a lot of different things. I'm very excited to see a direction this brand heads in. Stay tuned, y'all. I'll be doing the Night of Champions review, the Saudi Arabia Night of Champions review coming up soon. Thank you all for watching the Stack Card. As always, bye-bye.